Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you how to do a floating card, a split front card, and it looks like this where the front is not a whole piece of cardstock. It's quite a nice, simple, little, easy technique to do, so we'll get straight into it. I'm going to use Pool Party as usual. It's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and I have a layer which is 4 by 5 1/4, so it fits just inside. So we'll go ahead and fold the cardstock as usual. I'm going to add some sponging to the inside of the card, so I'm going to use one of the blending brushes and the Pool Party ink pad. Great, it's got lots of lovely little hairs. It's really quite a nice little tool. So just start off gently, because the trick of course is that you can always add more ink, but you can't take it away very easily once you've got it on. So we'll just add a little bit to add some depth and dimension on the inside, or it looks a little bit plain, or I thought so. So that's that, just a quick little piece. I'm going to go ahead and stick it inside the card, or it will become the inside of the card. But then once this is in, it's not very, I'm just going to adjust my camera because I think I bumped it with my head. It's not very floaty, it's quite solid. So what we need to do now is take the paper cutter and trim the piece that doesn't have the inside on it. So we're going to trim it out, line it up at 1 1/4, and just cut the front off. And then what we need to do is, with the piece that's left, technically you would cut 1 1/4 at the bottom and have the middle piece, but you know, it's a piece of all of the same cardstock right now. If it was designer series paper that had a shape or a pattern or something, then of course you would need to measure it and make sure you cut it off the bottom. But for now it doesn't really matter. I actually will use the bottom just by flipping it over. When it's plain, it doesn't really matter, and this little piece is just extra. So we've now got the floating element of the card, and we need something to keep the two pieces together. Just pop the, so I took a piece of white, basic white cardstock, and I stamped it with the gentle wave stamp using the Pool Party. There's a piece of basic black to layer it onto, and I'm going to use the Paradise Palms. I know it's one of my favorites, so you're quite used to seeing me do this in previous videos. I'm going to use the Memento ink pad. So we'll take the ground, the sand, the island, the whatever goes at the bottom, and oops, stamp that. When I've done the smaller palms, which is what I'm going to use next, I always feel somehow that I'm just stamping it to fill that little place in, that the palm trees have more depth than the island. This is like a speckly look. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mask that. There is a previous video in my series that highlights how we do the masking. So it's just a little bit of post-it note stamped with the image and cut around. So now I'm going to take the 3 palms and ink them up, and then I'm going to stamp them in the middle, and where the bottom of them comes, now it just looks more like they're coming out from behind. I don't know, it looks more like a silhouette, because if it was a silhouette you wouldn't actually get to see where the trunks went into the ground. Oops, it's not, I do need the ink pad, it's the stamp set I don't need anymore. So we'll just give that a quick clean. And then I am going to take the happy birthday stamp and using the black, keeping with the silhouette theme, stamp happy birthday. So that's those for now. Just pop the lid on that so I don't stick my elbow in it. So what I'm going to do now is attach this layer to the piece of basic black. I've used quarters and eighths and all sorts of sizes, so rather than tell you, I will put the measurements in the description that is below. So here we go. So here's the bottom of the card, which right now is just hanging out, and this is the top, and what we need to do is attach one to the other. And I know when we did the ZZ fold, it was important to not get ink on one of the sides. So likewise with this, you don't want to get ink in this area because it will stick the card closed. And the best way to do it is to turn it out. Make sure this is lined up exactly with the edges. Put this on upside down, and then you can see where your adhesive can go. And then turn it back over. Make sure you've got the card lined up like it would be if this piece wasn't missing. And then I'm actually going to line mine up so it's got the 1/4 inch and the 1/4 inch just the same. And then there you go, it lifts up. And then because we've got quite a nice size of a space, I am going to use the longer greeting, which says, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. Who wouldn't want that on their birthday? So, and that will just go right into that area there. So you've got a sentiment on the card. This is technically like the inside of the card. So there's plenty of space here for you to love from me to you. And it's just a little bit of a different look. I did do a vertical one too, which is over here. You can see it's a little bit tighter of a space. So when I did that one, instead of using the wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day, I just hoped you find a little bit of skinny paradise. So whatever designs you use, this one fitted quite well. It didn't really matter whether you did it wide or narrow. Some of the stamp sets, you can't do it narrow because it wouldn't fit, but it's exactly the same concept. One's portrait, one's landscape. You open it up, there's the inside. You can write your greeting on this side and it's hidden by the card. This one is the horizontal landscape one. Exactly the same. 2 cards, 1 idea. Thank you so much for watching.